Let me take you on a walk by the lake, by Lake Geneva, that's so close to here. It's beautiful, right? Such a beautiful autumn day, colors. My husband and I, we love spending time by that lake. We love going on walks, taking a swim, spend a lovely summer evening. Do you? It's amazing, right? Well, in the 1960s, people were actually keeping away from that lake. Swimming was banned, not an option. And that is because the lake was full of raw sewage and industrial waste. At that time, Switzerland had some of the dirtiest lakes and rivers in Europe. Hard to believe, right? Today, the situation changed for the better, thanks to political will and decades of investment into water treatment infrastructure. Yet new challenges have emerged, linked to climate change and to dangerous chemicals, to micropollutants. What does it tell us? That we should never take our water for granted. 20 years ago, I didn't know much about this. Actually, I didn't know much about water. As a student, I had one goal, and that was to work for the United Nations and to be part of a global community of people who wanted to make a difference. And that dream came true when I found myself working for UNICEF, living in a village in the state of Maharashtra in India. And my role was to observe, to engage, and to document the impacts on people's health, on people's environment, on the local economy, on women, of the fact of not having clean water and a toilet in people's homes. This was an extremely powerful experience for me. It touched me so much, and it really posed the beginning of my lifelong passion for water, and one that shaped every step of my career ever since. Water has made civilizations possible. Actually, it made life on Earth possible. It is the silver thread that connects us through generations and to everything living on this planet and beyond. Have you ever thought about the fact that the water we drink today is the same that our ancestors drank centuries ago? What do astrobiologists look for when they seek life elsewhere in the universe? It's water. You will agree with me that this is an extremely precious resource that needs to be respected and protected. Well, I've been advocating for water since my first job in India for the last 20 years, to governments, to businesses, surprisingly, even to other sustainability professionals. And I can tell you that it's not often seen as a priority. We still seem to believe that water challenges can be fixed with a pipe or a well, when what water really needs is a voice. Water is a shared resource. It's used by everybody, and yet not many speak out for it. To do our part to give water a voice, my business partner Lucy and we co-founded our company, LeafTurtle. We work with businesses and organizations to help them manage their water sustainably and collaboratively. Because right now, the situation doesn't look great. We are overusing our fresh water. According to the Planetary Boundaries Framework set up by the Stockholm Resilience Center, that tells us very clear that the way we're living today is far beyond what it calls the safe operating space for humanity. And this affects everyone, everywhere, in faraway countries as much as here, close to home. Water use has increased sixfold in the last century. Over half of the world's population already lives with severe water scarcity for part of the year. Just last year, next door, in Switzerland, a small town decided that it cannot accept any more people as a limit to its water supply capacity. That's in Switzerland, the water tower of Europe, one of the highest GDP countries in the world. Over 50% of the world's wastewater gets discharged into the environment without treatment. Can you imagine what this does to people who live there and to biodiversity? And also how much it costs to clean it all up before it can actually be used? We hear in the news a lot about deforestation, which is, of course, a fundamentally essential issue to be addressed. And yet, we are losing wetlands 3 times faster than forests. In Switzerland, 90% of wetlands have disappeared since mid-19th century. What does it mean? It means that essential buffers to climate change that absorb water during floods and release it during droughts are no longer there. In our world, 1 in 4 people live without safe drinking water. If we in this room represented the world, that would be 150 of us. Next time you pour yourself a glass to drink from the tap, maybe something to think about. We're really fortunate to be able to do that. So now, let's talk what all of this means, not only to people's lives, but also to business operations. Globally, food prices are going up, and global supply chains get disrupted because we need water not only to produce food, but also so many other things, like microchips for our TVs, or meds, and then ship them around the whole world. Companies face legal action and community opposition when they expand their operations in already water-stressed regions. And all of this costs our societies billions of dollars in economic losses. I'm sure you understand how important all of that is. So tell me, how often do you hear about water in strategic convenings about climate change, food security, or energy solutions? I can tell you it's not as often as you should. And why is that? Because water is still taken for granted. We call our beautiful planet the blue planet for a reason. There is seemingly a lot of water on it, and most of it flows in oceans and seas. Only 2% of Earth's water is fresh water, and of that, less than 1% is directly accessible for human use in lakes, rivers, and aquifers. Think about it, less than 1% for all the different human uses. That is drinking water supply, waste management, agriculture, energy production, tourism, biodiversity itself depend on less than 1%. This is what you see here with these little droplets as compared to a full bottle of water. This is huge pressure on that water. And if it could talk, it would tell us to stop stretching it like that. Water cannot talk, but it can find other means of communication by becoming too scarce, or too polluted, or too abundant in the case of floods. It is asking us to act at global, local, and personal levels. Water knows no borders, and frankly, we should learn from it. Solutions exist. They're technical, financial, political, but we need to start activating them in a different way. We must step out of the fences that we build around our company walls, regions, countries, and start collaborating. Successful collaborations exist. Just 2 months ago, Switzerland and France signed a historic agreement on the transboundary management of the River Rhône and Lake Geneva. There is collective action currently going on in Mexico between competitor companies who come together to restore important land and ecosystems, to ensure water quality and availability in the region. And they do that because they understand full well that they all depend on this same water. To ensure successful collaborations, we need to shift our mindset about water. We need to start seeing it as something that we control, to start coexisting with it. Rivers should have legal rights to flow freely and unpolluted, like they already do in countries like the UK, Ecuador, or Australia. Water should have a say in urban planning and land use, so that cities would have more green spaces, providing shade, absorbing excess water during rains, and recharging water tables. Wetlands would be restored, and regenerative agriculture would ensure soil health and water moisture retention. All of this would help remove CO2 from the atmosphere and create beautiful, climate-resilient landscapes. In a country like Switzerland, 80% of the consumed water is what we call virtual. It means it is integrated in the imported products and goods. Food on your table, clothes on your back, phones in your pockets, your last ChatGPT search, even watches on your wrists. All of this requires massive amounts of water. And at that point, you might be thinking, well, what can I do about this? Well, if you're a company executive, you can give water a seat at your boardroom table, because your supply chains, your profits, and ultimately your whole business depend on it. As individuals, we can rethink our own water use. We can buy sustainably manufactured products and choose hobbies that support rather than harm our environment. These are all choices we can make. Over the years, water has taught me so much. And if there's one thing I know, is that there is still so much more to learn. Next time you take a stroll by the water, look at it. Like really, connect with it. It may seem quiet, but under the surface, there are millions of years of stories to be told. I would invite you to slow down, to listen, and to hear the voice of water. Thank you.